Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com.
Big night from number 93, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, fourth career hat trick. You know that in his last 4 games, he's got 3 3-point games? Yes, Nuge is on fire, and it's coming at the perfect time. 5-4 Oilers beat the Seattle Kraken. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in. Looking forward to a great show tonight. Struddy standing by. We got Zuby coming up here. Rob Brown as well. We'll hop in a little bit. And so much to talk about on this night where the Oilers are without their 2 big star players. Pretty darn good offensive showing, I have to say. The show is always brought to you by Play Alberta, the official gambling partner of all the major Alberta teams. Whoever you cheer for, Play Alberta's cheering you on. Bet on your favorite teams, get in on odds boosts, and make game time more interesting. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with the code GYB03. That's playalberta.ca. I am pulled over safely in my mobile adrenaline diesel studio, Edmonton's premier heavy-duty diesel truck repair shop, specializing in powertrain tuning, performance, and parts sales. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca. As we say good evening to Jason Strudwick, and we got Zuby. And folks, if these two are looking a little bleary-eyed, it's because spring break is starting. And for fellows that still have kids of a certain age and level of maintenance required, spring break is it's a testing time, Struds.
You know, I always try to plan things, and my wife and my kids are like, no, we'll be fine. And then by Thursday or Friday, we're choking each other out. So I already know what's going to happen. So, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's the same thing. We don't learn from our mistakes in this house, and that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. I'm ready for it.
Are you guys not a week? We're already a week into it. Okay. Are you guys still have 1 week spring break?
No, we just started. Today's like I guess today's the first official day.
Right.
Yeah. So you guys are almost done. We're just going into this ball of fun.
Yeah, we're halfway. It's been a bit much this week at times. And it starts making me think ahead to already thinking about summer. We gotta have camps. We gotta have lots of stuff on deck for summer.
Oh man, it is so different for the stage you guys are in. Our 18, 19, 21, and 22-year-olds are a lot easier during spring break. They all leave the house and go to work like the rest of the world. So different stages. By the way, Struds, I got a scenario for you. Actually, for both of you guys. So you're out on a walk, and while you were on said walk, you look down, and upon the ground, you see a set of Invisalign just laying there. Just a set of random Invisalign laying there. It's like that appliance, that tooth appliance thing. So the question that I want to ask you guys is what would you do? Because I'll tell you what my wife did. Zuby, go ahead and show the Invisalign. Randine, being the wonderful soul that she is, took it upon herself to pick up the Invisalign, bring it home, and then put up a Facebook post asking if anybody is missing Invisalign now in our community. Now, this sparked a lot of debate in our house. Some were totally grossed out and thought this was way offside. Others thought it was the act of a patron saint. What say you, Struds and Zuby, on this?
Well, judging from that tray, it looks like they've got really crooked teeth. So they're just starting this journey. So I think she did the right thing. We got to get those things. Looks like a Jenga gone bad.
I don't know. I feel like, what do you think, man?
Yeah.
Are you picking that up?
No, seriously, I just keep on walking. You don't know. Like we have 3 people in this house with Invisalign, and I find them all over the place. I find them in people's pants, on shelves, in the peanut butter, and I just toss it. I'm like, if you don't care enough to look after it, you got to figure it out. I've got no time for it, so I keep walking. What about you, Zoobs?
Well, they also change. How often do they change? Every week or like every 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's only good for a week anyway. So knowing that, I mean, this could be something else, but if it were just an Invisalign and I could identify it, I'm probably going to keep on walking. Or I might set it to the side or on like a green electrical box or something nearby and snap a photo of it and say, if you lost it on this walk, here's where it is. Go help yourself.
You don't know where those teeth have been. So, why are you picking it up?
Well,
I'll
so
do
she said
this.
she didn't. What's that?
Oh, I was just saying with my hand, I was showing like, yeah, I could do it without touching it. No problem.
Yeah. Well, she says she didn't touch it with her hand. Like, and you got a doggy bag there, so you can kind of like maybe use the doggy bag,
Use the doggy bag.
Slip it into your pocket, whatever. I thought they were more expensive than that, and I think maybe she thought they were more expensive than that. These are not like, this is not like $1,000 appliance.
Well, because you get a new ones every week, so you might get 40 sets of these things.
Not individually. The whole process is very expensive. My wife did it, not me.
Yeah, and I did it too, and you can tell by his nice teeth. But like I said, I could tell by the spacing on those things that's a nasty set of teeth. So they're just starting their journey. So they got time. They got time.
Maybe we'll make that the subject of our poll tonight. What would you do if you came across a set of Invisalign on your wall? We'll get to that a little bit later on. All right, Struddy, we got a game to break down. So courtesy our friends at the Alberta Ram Dealers, let's get to the breakdown.
Okay.
He's going through his
breakdown.
Email.
No,
it'll be an email from Randine.
I got it. Rest easy, everyone. The breakdown is brought to you by our good buddies, Alberta Ram Dealers. The 2025 Ram 1500 is Motor Trend's Truck of the Year. Visit your Alberta Ram dealer to get into this award-winning truck at a competitive price. Capable, stylish, powerful Ram.
All right, good stuff. So on a night where for the first time they did not have McDavid and Draisaitl at the same time available to play. They have both been out in the past, but that was by choice to sit them. This is the first time where neither of them were available to be in the lineup, Struds. And so we talked about the other day, maybe it's a silver lining for some other people to step up, for some support players who haven't been getting the offensive looks or the love as much to get some more looks and some additional looks. And with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins leading the way here, Struds, that was kind of exactly what happened tonight. You can disagree with me. I thought a lot of players had a really notably good showing tonight. You?
I love this game for the Oilers tonight. Was it perfect? No, it was not a perfect game. There was some what I'd call sloppy handling of the puck, but there were players who really stepped up, and you could tell they enjoyed the added responsibility they were given, because there was 40 some minutes they were up for grabs tonight, and the guys that took advantage of it, and you highlighted a few of them in your question there. So I love the way that this worked out. I love that guys stepped up, and I think it's really important for these guys to get their offensive beaks wet moving forward, because with Connor Lee on there, they swallow a lot of air, and rightfully so. So now this is your chance. Show what you can do. Show what you can rely on offensively, and more importantly than that, find their confidence.
So we're going to have a conversation about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. We're going to have a conversation about Jeff Skinner and that line in particular, and anybody else you want to talk about, Struds. But let's maybe take these performances one at a time here. So as I said in the opening, 3 out of his last 4 games are 3-point performances for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. A hat trick performance on this night, Struds. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is one of the players in this lineup that it certainly is capable of doing exactly what he's doing right now. So the fact that he hasn't done it a ton this year makes this seem a little bit odd, but like Nuge has this capability. And so a great night for him tonight, but a real uptick in his play overall offensively.
Well, in 4 games, he's gone from 39 points to 48 points. That's a big jump, massive jump in 4 games. So, can he keep this pace up? No, I don't believe him to be, a 3-point a night guy, but I think that he can have offensive bursts. And I'm going to steal what Brownie said. And or maybe it was Brownie and Chris Knobloch. He's really moving his feet and he's skating. He's skating to open ice and then stealing something I talked about. He's getting more inside the dots, getting shots off from more inside the dots. And I think that makes a big difference. When he's doing that, I don't think he's a guy that can beat people from long range. In long range, I'm talking top of circles, outside the dots. But if you look where he scored, he's kind of getting inside there. He's shooting the puck. He's skating towards the net, shooting in stride. The one that went off the D-man stick, who cares? He shot it. He was in stride. He was moving, making the D-man move. Those are all really positive things for him. And that's when I believe he's offensively at his best.
Seems to coincide with a move to the middle of the ice, Struds. And this, I will put this in the category of some nice touch from Chris Knobloch, sensing that, they're just the elements of his game that were being suppressed by playing as a winger in the top six were holding him back. He believed that a move to center was going to unlock parts of his game that could make this sort of difference. So I'm going to give Ryan gets the credit because he's playing well and he's putting up the points. So he gets the lion's share of the credit. But I'm going to share a little bit here with Chris Knobloch for finding a lever to pull to unlock this player a little bit.
Yeah, it's really well put. And your point's well made. I think when you look at it, he said, okay, well, we've got to get this guy going. And, does maybe a player become a little complacent playing beside McDavid, and you're like, okay, well, I'll defer to him or I'll move the puck to him. And I've said it many times that often playing with those guys, your job is to move the puck to 29 and 97. Well, now you're kind of on your own and you're looking around like, I'm probably that guy. I'm probably the guy that everybody wants to have the puck to have on their stick. So I think it pushes Nuge, and maybe there was a conversation between Knobloch and Nuge, say, buddy, we want you to run your own line, to push the pace, to create. And it all kind of came together well because now you can tell he's a player who's feeling
it. He said something interesting the other day. We were chatting with him in the room, and he said he's actually still a lot more comfortable playing center. I mean, multiple years here where he's primarily been used as a winger, but he admitted that he's still most comfortable playing the game at center. So it's interesting that, here he is in the middle of the ice playing some of his, playing his flat out his best hockey of the season. And with the two big centers out, he's a featured center and has a massive night like this. Let's get to the Weiss Johnson sound box here. Struds. Zuby, we have sound from Nugent-Hopkins, correct? And if you want to put it into, I can't remember what specifically he's talking about, but you can tee that up. But Struds, we'll get to the sound box courtesy Weiss Johnson.
And air conditioning. If it's time for a new furnace, garage heater, or hot water tank, or you're looking to beat the rush on getting a new air conditioner for this summer, act now as a team over at Weiss Johnson are already seeing an increase in requests for air conditioning. Specializing in servicing your existing mechanical systems or installing new ones, Weiss Johnson is here for all your home comfort needs. Visit weissjohnson.com today. Hit it.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Good. That was a smooth ad read and excellent timing on the jingle. Zuby, what do we got?
We got Nuge here on just feeling some more offensive confidence.
Obviously, confidence plays a big part of this game, and sometimes when it doesn't go for you, you can lack some confidence, but you try to stay with it and try to do the little things right, and hope it pays off.
You guys scored on some nice shots tonight. Your goals were really nice snipes.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Rico's was post in. I mean, just a great shot. I think my first one got a little deflection there. So yeah, okay. Well, thanks, Ryan. But yeah, I mean, our mindset was kind of shoot the puck, go get it, and play off that. And I thought we did a really good job in the first period of doing that. Got away from it a little bit in the second, but still found a way to get done.
So maybe we can transition off of that sound, Struds. The point I was making to Ryan is that, I mean, I think most of the Oilers goals were scored tonight off just really nice shots, were they not? Nuge had the one that was tipped a little bit there, but like Henrique had a nice snipe. Skinner was, a nice snipe. I thought the Oilers shot the puck well tonight and scored goals on nice shots.
Yeah, they were picking apart a little more the decor there. It was one of those nights where it felt like if you had a good shot, you were going to beat the netminder on the other side. And those guys, like you mentioned Henrique, you mentioned Nuge, and mentioned Skinner. They've scored a lot of goals in the NHL, right? I'm not talking Ovechkin numbers, but they have scored. They're not getting lucky. They've scored and they can shoot to score. But look where they shot from. Is it any coincidence that Skinner's right in the slot and he rips one by, or the Nuge's he and Henrique were kind of similar, but they were in a shooting area, ready to shoot, and they got their shots off. I think they, to steal his words, looking to shoot. Like when the puck was on their stick, they're like, I'm shooting this thing. I'm not passing. Henrique's, he was not looking to pass that. Yeah, Perry was set up in front. He's like, I'm going to come down and bomb this thing. And bomb, and he did.
Interesting. A power play that knows if you get an opportunity, you cannot pass up a shot. And maybe, and listen, when McDavid and Draisaitl there, that power play is excellent and it's much better. But I think maybe that just signified a shift in the mindset, Struds, to your point. It was like, you don't pass up a good shooting opportunity on that power play because you don't have Leon Draisaitl out on the flank. You don't have Connor McDavid that can dangle through two other guys. You're not looking to make sure that, there isn't a better play to one of them. It's right simplified.
It is, and it's so much different. I mean, the first couple of power plays, without both those guys, the zone entries were it was a challenge, and what I liked is that they went with the second unit. I really liked that they started the second unit on one of the power plays, and that unit looked like they knew what they were doing. Not as far as being smarter, but they had a plan as a group. Whereas I think the first group, there was some crisscrossing going on entering the zone. And I understand, you could see what they're trying to do, and it eventually broke through. But they looked like they were struggling getting into the zone.
I don't know if you heard the pre-interviews earlier on today, but Knobloch was answering some questions about the power play and adjusting it and stuff. And I said, you plan to use Perry on the slingshot entry? He laughed and he goes, maybe as a decoy. So when I saw them struggling with their entries tonight, I remembered that and had a little bit of a chuckle. But hey, listen, they end up finding a couple and they keep it simple, some nice shots and a nice injection of confidence for some guys that don't necessarily get those looks a lot. Let's shift over to Jeff Skinner, Struds, and this has been a conversation we've been having for the better part of a month and a half about the quality of his play, perhaps not equaling the opportunity that was coming his way. And so he's been playing well recently, and then the two big guys get hurt, and he goes from playing next to Connor McDavid on essentially the top line and playing well and contributing. And when the new lines are put together, he is not on what you would have considered either of the top two lines. He was put left side on what was for sure the third line tonight. Yet, doesn't deter him. And one of the best lines tonight. And this was Skinner again, grabbing whatever he was given and making the best of it.
I couldn't understand how that line ended up together, especially when Skinner the way he's playing. And I'm sorry. There's a lot of things I like the way Knobloch operates. With handling of Jeff Skinner, I'm not understanding. He's scoring right now. He's doing some good things. So it's unclear to me. The only thing I could think about was trying to find a bit of a mismatch there, where you have Skinner maybe playing against not top lines, and then he gets an opportunity to maybe pop one in there. But
you think, Struds? Yeah, you think? That feels like a stretch. I think they just decided, let's put him there.
I honestly, because there's got to be a reason. Like there has to be, and that's the only thing I could think of. Maybe there's others that I'm missing, but I'm trying to figure it out, guys. And I'm not feeling it right now.
I think he didn't want to.
Just a shocker. We got Brownie here on the line too now.
Oh, okay, perfect. Brownie. We were just talking about the lines and the way they landed, and how it was another good night from Jeff Skinner. But interesting that he went from McDavid's wing to a third line when there were fewer offensive players in the lineup, but really made the most of it.
Yeah, I thought he was excellent again. I think he's just continued what we've seen from him for, in all honesty, when's the last time he had it working? It's been a long time. He's been a difference maker. He's creating plays on his own. He's creating plays for his line mates. When I just heard what you and Struds were talking about, why he was in that spot, the only thing I could come up with is Knobloch might want to line match. Henrique would be a line that he would trust defensively to put out against the other teams, one of their top lines, and he doesn't trust Skinner enough. He trusts Perry more. That's the only thing I could think of, because yes, the way Skinner has played as of late, he would have been their best option on the wing. He's outplayed everyone offensively, any other of the wingers. So, yeah, I agree with your analysis, Struds, where you said of all the things Knobloch has done and he does well, the handling of Jeff Skinner is a bit of a head scratcher.
Yeah, and he continues to push through, though. So, Brownie, I'll challenge you with this. You have been saying for quite some time that when the playoffs begin, Jeff Skinner will not be in the lineup. And then they went out and traded for 2 more left wingers. You were saying that before they traded for those left wingers. And now they've stacked a couple more guys that play that side. But I would submit to you, gentlemen, and Gregor and I were doing this exercise after the game. We were trying to figure out, like, when Frederick is back and Evander Kane is back and McDavid and Draisaitl are both back, like, who are all the players that are coming out of the lineup? And I would submit to you guys, Jeff Skinner is literally bullying his way, Struds, into the playoff lineup.
Yeah, I mean, he's scoring, right? So I think that makes a big difference, and that might be something to look for on a different line. I don't see him with I don't know. Honestly, I'm at a loss to think about how he's going to play. Like, Frederick's going to be beside Draisaitl. Hyman will be there. You know, do they keep Nuge at center? And if they pop someone else up there, is it Skinner? Like, I don't know. I do agree. I think he's moving towards that way. I'm not prepared to say he's there yet. Because once everyone gets healthy, he could be out, before we even know what's going on here.
I personally would have Jeff Skinner in the lineup, and I've stood by that all year long. I believe he's a top 6 player. And I also will stand by when the 4 players, if Evander Kane is back to the beginning of the playoffs, that means 4 players that played tonight, 4 forwards, will be out of the lineup in game 83, and I will stand by my statement that Jeff Skinner will be one of those players.
Yeah, because who is it? So, I mean, Max Jones, Derek Ryan, I think are 2 that are easy. Like the
Kapanen and then 1 more.
Yeah, that's kind of who I was thinking. So you got, is it Perry? I don't think it's Janmark.
Yeah,
Skinner.
I mean, Connor Brown kills penalties. Like the other option would be Podkolzin, right? If you want Skinner in a more offensive look.
Yeah.
Now Podkolzin has been used a bit on the penalty kill, right? But is it possible that if Skinner continues to play well defensively, that they choose a more offensive-minded person rather than the engine and the physicality, but the lack of production that Podkolzin has brought? He has made this much more of a conversation, at least, than it would have been before.
I agree with that. I think it's a much bigger conversation. I would have Skinner in. I don't think he will be. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't pull Podkolzin out if you're playing against the LA Kings, or if you're playing against the Vegas Golden Knights, or for some reason if you're playing against the Minnesota Wild. I don't have Podkolzin out if you're playing 3 big teams. I think Janmark and Brown kill penalties. They don't need. They're going to have Evander Kane back if he's back, Frederick back. They've got guys they believe that can score. I think Skinner will be the odd man out, and whether it's right or wrong, I just think that if they pull 4 players out of tonight's lineup, it'll be Ryan, it will be Jones, it'll be Captain, and it'll be Jeff Skinner.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, I think you're probably right, because I'd like to think they're going to try to have a bigger bodies, like Podkolzin and another 2 guys coming in. They want some bigger guys they can skate and get to the net. But Skinner's making a fight.
Was I the only one that thought Corey Perry struggled a bit tonight?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead, Brownie.
Well, it's funny. Corey Perry rarely makes a mistake when the puck's on his stick. He's always safety first. There were 2 passes he made in his own zone that were unlike Corey Perry. But to me, they like his veteran savvy. To me, Corey Perry will be on their 4th line to start the playoffs. I just don't. Jeff Skinner to me doesn't make sense on your 4th line, and I don't see him in the top 6. So that's why I like Jeff Skinner. I just don't think if everybody's healthy, and this means Kane plays beginning of the playoffs, I just don't see Jeff Skinner in the lineup. Now, again, he probably deserves to be, but I don't see him there.
Yeah. Okay, here's what we'll do, guys. Let's get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox, and we'll hear from Jeff Skinner. Struds, when that is done, you grab Relentless Player and grab our poll up. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, Brownie, scenario for you. You're out for a walk, walking your dog, and you see a pair of Invisalign laying on the pavement in front of you. Do you pick them up and post on Facebook if anybody lost, or do you walk past because, of course, you're not going to pick up Invisalign?
I wouldn't even know what Invisalign looked like, so I would walk past it. I wouldn't know what it is.
It's like a mouth guard. It's basically like an expensive-looking mouth guard.
Well, I'm not on social media, so I wouldn't be able to post it anywhere anyways. I would probably leave it where it is, and someone will find it eventually.
All right. Let's get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. Here's Jeff Skinner. I'll talk to you guys.
I thought Yanni and Brownie played great today. I think even on the goal there, Brownie knocks out of the air, makes a great pass into the middle there, and Yanni sort of all night. I think he had a couple of real good looks. So, I think when guys have success, it's usually a result of 4 other guys on the ice at the same time making good plays and reading off each other. And I think tonight those 2 guys played great, and I think we read off each other pretty well. Jeff.
Yeah, they had it going on pretty well. It was an odd line that I didn't think was going to see, but we saw it, and they kind of got it going. All right, Brandon, let's get to our Relentless Player, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services, an Edmonton charity relentless in helping your young people rise above life's challenges. From mental health struggles to finding a steady job, they offer the support youth need to build brighter futures, connecting youth to employment opportunities, equipping them with essential life and work skills, and providing free on-site counseling to ensure their success. Visit ucan.ca to donate today. So I think there's a lot of candidates for this, Brownie, but I'm going to go a little bit, not off the board. I'm just going to go on one stat, 10-2. Rico, my man Rico Henrik, 10-2 in the face-off dot, and for that he earns his Relentless Player of the night. What do you got that thought, Brownie?
I thought he was very good. And again, before the game, we talked about nobody on the Oilers wants a player injured. Nobody is. The realization in the dressing room would have been we are a much, much, much better team having Connor and Leon in the lineup. But there would have been excitement amongst players about having extra ice time tonight. And Adam Henrique be one of those players. He got to be on the first power play unit, had elevated minutes in the game, would have been more of a focal point for this team winning a hockey game tonight. And he took advantage of it. Like, he's on the power play. He wouldn't be on the power play if Connor and Leon were in the lineup, on either power play probably, but he's been there before, and he understood as a veteran, missing the skilled guys, simplify, put pucks on net, shoot the puck on net, scores a goal. So I thought Henrique was one of the best players for the Oilers tonight. He needed to be, and he was, and I think that's a good thing moving forward.
100%. I think confidence-wise, it's good. And then just showing you can get it done. Hey, I can do this. Trust me, guys. Pass me the puck. Like, I think that's pretty strong message that some of these guys are sending, Skinner, Henrique, and Nuge. Now let's get to our YouTube poll, brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. The snow is melting and golf season will soon be here. 2025 equipment is now fully loaded in the fitting carts. DeBoer's is booking fittings 10 days in advance, so call now to get your spot. Get fit to play your best by the team dedicated to helping you play better golf. Visit them at 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. It's a pretty awesome store. Lots of options to help you become the great golfer like Rob Brown. Soups, what do you got for us, buddy, for a poll?
Well, I thought Brownie was going to be the relentless player. When you said 10-2, I figured that was Brownie's really good driving. He's got his hands at 10-2 on the wheel, and I thought for really driving super safely home, Brownie's the relentless player of the game. Okay, here's the YouTube poll. Maybe we might have to have a secondary poll tonight because I think this one's a laugher. The poll question is, you find a dental apparatus on the ground. Do you A, pick it up, post on Facebook, B, keep on walking? I'm sure you guys can probably guess where the majority of the stream is landing, but it's pretty one-sided right now.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's not like a slipper. You can't try it on to make it fix your teeth. Right? It's ever changing. Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick pause here. When we get back, takeaways. The Oilers win tonight 5-4. Not perfect, but you know what? They're missing a couple big guys. They got the win, and you move on, I think. So we'll get to takeaways next year with Brownie, Zoobs, Schauger, and myself. See you in a minute.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
Time now for our takeaways, brought to you by Martin Motorsports. Summer's just around the corner and you want to be ready to take advantage of every single sunny day. Visit Martin Motorsports at the Edmonton Boat and Sportsman Show for their last day tomorrow to take advantage of some great show specials on gear, accessories, boats, docks, and lifts, quads, side-by-side, sea-doos, and even ski-doos. Stop by the Edmonton Convention Center and seek out our good pals over at Martin Motorsports. Brownie, we spent some time in the opening segment talking about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and rightfully so. I'm positive, Struds, that he would have been your relentless player tonight, that you wouldn't have allowed some strange allegiance to some other random player to win over the night when someone had a hat trick. I'm sure you wouldn't have done that, right? So it was Nuge's relentless player?
I won't be browbeaten into who or what is the relentless player. And you can, if you want to go 1B, sure we can, but that's a low hanging fruit. I went with my man Rico, 10-2 in the faceoff dot.
Yeah, that's a good number. That's a good number and a nice goal. That'll be good for him, man, to snipe a goal like that. And I thought, I think it was Bieksa that made the point. This is a guy that scored 60-plus playoff goals throughout his career. So good on him. That'll help him. But Brownie, maybe just a thought, if you can, on 3 of his last 4 games. You got 3 points out of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins here, and just the confidence that he's playing the game with, and he's doing it at center ice, which he told us the other day, Brownie, he's actually still more comfortable at center.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of negative reaction to RNH's season. A lot of people, what's wrong with RNH? Why is the production not there? He was playing the left wing with Connor McDavid, and that line was not producing. And what happens when a great player isn't playing as well as he thinks he should, and that's Connor McDavid, you try to do too much. When you try to do too much, well, all of a sudden an RNH isn't touching the puck at all. And I think RNH just kind of got pushed out and just he was losing confidence because he was not touching the puck at all. And I love what Chris Knobloch did. He said, let's get his confidence back. Let's put him at center. Let's let him drive a line. Let him distribute the puck. carry the puck through the neutral zone. And you saw when he went to center, like right away, you saw a different RNH. You saw someone that was making plays, taking charge out there, being assertive with the puck on his stick. And he has been excellent. And then tonight in a game where you're missing your top two players, you know, the longest serving Oilers steps up and he was the man. So I thought he's been fantastic as of late. I think he is much more confident and assertive. And you're starting to see the RNH that many of you expected all season long. And what it does, it gives the Oilers that third line going into the playoffs with RNH driving a line that's not only very sound defensively, which it is, but also it's producing points. So I think good on RNH for what he's done over this last little while. And like Struddy just said about Henrique, the confidence he gained by scoring that goal. Well, I think Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is as confident as he has been in a couple of years with the way he's played the last few weeks.
A little bit of frustration here in the stream on Evan Bouchard and some of the Oilers defensemen tonight. Some stranger says was frustrating to watch Bouchard tonight. Nurse wasn't much better. Don't even get me started on Bouch, says Paulie. No excuse for some of his pizzas. There's going to be a few when you're trying to make plays, but it's the NHL for crying out loud, not midget AAA. So a little harsh there, Paulie, I would say. Let's go big picture here, Struds, on the blue line tonight. I thought there were kind of a fair share of mistakes to go around, and people will point to the Bouchard one that ended up in the goal at the other end. Bit of a soft play at the blue line there, but there were some others. And again, another night where Walman had a couple in his own end and one in particular that very nearly ended up costing them in a goal again. So it wasn't only Bouchard. There were some mistakes tonight defensively, Struddy.
Yeah, and I think all the D-men can wear, it wasn't beautiful. And I think, like, I was watching Walman tonight, and I wonder what you're in the building there. I feel like right now he's kind of circling instead of stopping and starting. When he arrived, he was stopping and starting, being in straight lines. And I feel like he's just kind of surfing around and not stopping like he was. So I think that's something he could bring back to his game and be a little bit cleaner with, Brownie.
Well, it's funny. Bouchard, he gave the one up at the blue line, but there was another one that he gave up in the neutral zone as well that turned out into the back of the net as well. So those are mistakes that he had slowly taken out of his game. I mean, the one where he got the blue line, I seen the behind angle view of that. I have no idea where he's trying to put that puck. There were three Kraken between him and any Oilers, so that was a big mistake. As for Walman, what I'm seeing from Walman right now, to me, he looks like a rover. He just, as you said, Struddy, he's always circling. It's almost like he's playing a rover position. I think when the puck's on his stick and he's making plays, he's very effective. But I think at times he struggles with the defensive part. I think there's some hiccups defensively. The goal against, there was a rebound shot. He was facing the net. We've seen that before with Bouchard where he's facing the wrong way. Instead of turning around and trying to find a forward to take away that forward, he's fishing for the puck facing the wrong way. So Walman has got a lot of very good assets and a lot of good attributes. I think in this last little while there have been some hiccups defensively. And I thought both he and Bouchard tonight, some big mistakes by the two of them in a game where they played a team that was limited offensively. They gifted that team some grade A scoring chances that made this game a lot closer than it probably should have been.
Gong Show says Walman has mishandled the puck a number of times, like he's anxious, too anxious to get the puck going forward. HW Dump says Walman committing a play too heavy too. Don't quite understand that one as much. Avi Hoffman saying Walman very sloppy sometimes. I agree. When he has puck, he is smart with it. It would seem, Struds, when he is on it, he can defend. When his game starts to slip a little, that's the end that it looks like it's going to slip in. Not his, not the offense, he still makes a great pass, but when his game slips, it's the D that's going to slip out of it.
I think that's fair. And I think that honestly, just the stopping and starting it would help a lot. And then on the goal that was disallowed, he goes in front of the net and he's not lifting sticks, right? So guys just keep pounding away at pucks. Get under the stick, lift it up. Just take one stick out of the equation. then maybe someone else lifts another one up. Now we have two people with their sticks in the air, and it makes their job a little easier. So that should be your first reaction as a D-man. Get in front, lift up a stick. Just tie someone up.
Yeah. We got some more sound, right, Zuby? We have a little bit more Jeff Skinner sound. It was interesting. Some of his teammates were talking a little bit about him tonight, weren't they, Zuby? What do you got?
Yeah, we got Ekholm on just kind of talking about his situation that he's played through this year and what he's done lately.
He's done a really good job. I mean, I feel like he's a veteran, right? Like, he's been around for a long time, and when you get put in the stands, there's one of two ways you can go. Either you kind of feel bad for yourself and feel sorry for yourself and don't try to do the right things anymore. But I got to give him all the credit in the world. He's been a super pro. He's worked hard and off morning skates or whatever. Every chance he's had, he's worked hard. He's never complained. And back in the lineup, contributing now. So, I mean, that's the way you should be handling stuff, and I give him all the credit in the world.
Was there more, Zub?
Yeah, there was Skinner as well, just talking about being a good teammate.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you should come to the rink and try and be a good teammate. I think here is a pretty good group of guys, good atmosphere. When guys are going through adversity, obviously everyone goes through it. No matter where you are in the lineup, guys go through ebbs and flows of the season, and you work through it together, and you prop each other up when you can. And we got a lot of veteran guys here, been around a long time, I think, and everyone's aware of what everyone's going through, and I'm just sort of happy to be a part of that.
So the question, you got something, Struds? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's easy to say that. It's easy to say that, I'm going to be a good teammate and all that. It's hard to do it. And I've been really impressed. And Shogger, you're there all the time. And I was in that where you're in, you're in, you play a good game, they take you out, and they're in and out. And it's frustrating and you can't show it. And I've been really impressed with him because it seems like he has been so, quote unquote, relentless on just trying to be a solution or find a solution to why he's not playing. I give the guy a lot of credit because it's not easy to do. It's not easy to do at all, especially as a vet.
Well, I think too, Struds, when you throw in the fact that he's a 1,000-game player, he's a guy that's a 30 and a 40 goal scorer, and he was brought in here with high aspirations of being on the second line. It would have been even harder for him to just take the high road the whole time without saying, hey, enough's enough. I'm giving you what you wanted, and you're still not giving me any credit or giving me more ice time or giving me a line to play with. And Strud, you and I have been on teams where a player has been sat out or has been benched or has been moved down the lineup, and that player does not make bring a positive attitude to the dressing room, and it affects the team. So give him credit for doing everything he's done, and then eventually when he's gotten his chances, he's produced. So good on Jeff Skinner. I hope he pushes himself into the playoff roster. I really do. I think he can help this Oilers team, but the players know what he's going through, and that's why Ekholm was able to talk about it. You know what every player on your team is going through at every moment. And he is crediting. He's making sure the press knows, that the fans know that they are impressed with what Jeff Skinner has done.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nate Hay chimed in and said Knobloch hasn't given Skinner any credit for anything he has done. I would disagree with that, Nate. Sorry. I think there have been times where, I recall running a bit of an awkward clip from Knobloch when we had asked him something specific about Skinner and why it just wasn't working. And remember, guys, we rolled the clip and we all kind of scratched our heads and went, oh, that's like a guy struggling to find something to say here. But if you go back and listen to the post game, I mean, Chris Knobloch went out of his way to point out Jeff Skinner, how well he's playing. He's talked about how well he's played recently. So I don't view a coach in any way, shape, or form who's unwilling to praise the player when things are going well. But I do want to ask the question, though. Struds, do you think that Jeff Skinner is having success right now in part because this coaching staff has handled him the way they have? That it's been maybe motivating for a guy to be a little frustrated, to be healthy scratched? Is this a tactic that a staff used with a guy who just got bought out, remember, who maybe his game was lacking some things, and they've actually got this out of him?
Or do you think he's succeeded in doing this in spite of the staff?
I feel like everything Chris Knobloch does is thought out. I don't think he's just reacting. I don't like this guy, or this guy doesn't work for me. So he probably had a plan thinking, how am I going to try to get this guy playing the way we want? And I can't remember. I think it was, I don't know who spoke about him today, but said he's really moving his feet well. And he is, I think he is skating. And it was Ekholm. Okay. And I feel like he's skating with a purpose. Like he's attacking D and not trying to do the 10-2 around him. Like he's attacking them. And there's almost, it looks like there's more speed, but there's a purpose to everything he's doing. So, I want to believe that this is the plan by Knobloch and it's working, or it's heading the right direction, and they still have, a handful of games to get it done, Brownie. But because I just, other than that, I can't understand what is going on. So maybe that is it. Maybe that is where they're at, Brownie.
Yeah, I disagree. I don't think that's the case. I don't think they say, hey, let's sit this guy out. And then when we bring him in and he plays well, we'll sit him out again. I don't believe that at all. I don't think if there weren't injuries, he might not be in the lineup. So I just think that Chris Knobloch has other players on the team that he likes better. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can only dress 20 guys. You can only dress 12 forwards. I don't think they had a plan to embarrass him, to frustrate him, and to force him to, okay, you know what, now he's really mad at us. He's going to go out there and play better. I think this is how Jeff Skinner plays. He's done it over 1,000 games in the NHL. This is Jeff Skinner. So to me, I don't think there was a plan that if we put him in the press box long enough, he'll start playing better and more like we want to. I think he right now is getting an opportunity because of injuries, and the puck's going in the net for him. So that's, to me, I don't think there was a plan, no.
You're muted there, Shoggy.
Oh, sorry about that. When he plays on a line like he did today, guys, he can fire away. Like, he likes to stick handle his way through a few guys and create an opportunity for himself and let it rip. When he's on that line today, I think that's fine. When he's playing with Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl, I think he needs to be a little bit more selective. In fact, Chris Knobloch has said he needs to be a little bit more selective. So I think part of it is kind of adjusting that natural game of his, Brownie, and I think he played it a little bit more tonight in terms of creating opportunity for himself and shooting it versus maybe needing to do a better job of getting the puck to 97 when he's on one of those big lines. Maybe that isn't quite as natural for him.
Well, it's not, and it's not as natural for any player. Arvidsson, he likes to shoot the puck, and when you're playing with 97 or 29, they don't want you shooting the puck from weird angles. They want the puck, and they will give you the puck when it's time to shoot the puck. So it is hard playing with them. They're different than any other players in the National Hockey League. Skinner can play carefree when he's playing with those players. That's why Arvidsson, when he was playing with Nugent-Hopkins, was shooting more because it was a 3-on-2. He took a shot from the outside. It went in New York. He wouldn't have shot that if he was playing with Connor or Leon because they want the puck. That wasn't the best place to shoot from if Connor and Leon are on the ice. And even after the goal Skinner scored a couple games ago on the 3-on-2 where he scored from distance on Hellebuck, yeah, I probably should have passed it to Connor McDavid there. But he shouldn't. He's a goal scorer. You get the puck, shoot the puck. And unfortunately, with the Oilers, they like the puck in Connor and Leon's hand, and certain players, like an Arvidsson and Skinner who were brought in, that's not how they play. And they play freer when they're not playing with 97 and not playing with 29.
All right. That was Takeaways brought to you by our friends over at Martin Motorsports. All right. When we come back, we're going to have Brownie Points and we're going to have Struddy's World as well. Also, we are going to hang on to Rob Brown for Ask Us Anything tonight. So if you got questions, get them into the stream. We got a fantastic number of people on live with us tonight, so we greatly appreciate it. If you're taking some time tonight to join us live, or if you've downloaded us in podcast form and it's Sunday, we appreciate the downloads. Tell some friends. And if you are live with us, go ahead and hit that like button. Brownie Points, Struddy's World coming up. For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit belvederegcc.com today.
At HSE Core, we are dedicated to providing unparalleled safety compliance services to small and medium-sized businesses through our monthly health and safety program management, including managing contractor screening registries and core auditing services. Let HSE Core Services help you maintain a safe workplace for you and your valued employees. Visit us at hsecore.com.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
All right, welcome back to the show. Let's get to our scoreboard, brought to you by Canadian Club. The all-new Canadian Club Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58%. It's their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date. Full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with that butterscotch finish. Lots of action tonight, Struds.
Ooh, heavy slate of action. The Mighty Rangers beat the Canucks 5-3, so they do a massive favor to the Calgary Flames. Win 4-3 in overtime. Nazem Kadri gets an OT. The Kings 7-2 winners over the Kings. So the Kings are really hot in their recently, and they kind of slow down a little bit. Fiala gets his 26th goal in that game. A couple interesting ones here for people keeping track of what's going on out east. Senators beat the Devils today 3-2. The Maple Leafs lose 5-2 to the juggernaut Nashville Predators. And then finally, the Golden Knights win 6-3 over the Red Wings. So that means the Oilers don't pick up any points over that team, but everyone just kind of keeps pace in the Pacific race, the top three.
Mm-hmm. And the Oilers with a bit of a break here. Don't play again until Wednesday, so maybe some of those games in hand get gobbled up here. And then they go back-to-back. Home versus Dallas and on the road against Seattle. So tough little back-to-back there for the Oilers. All right, that was our scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club. All right, let's go. Zuby, did we decide we're doing Struddy's World or Brownie points first?
You call it. I got my finger on
Brownie
the switch.
points. Let's do brownie points.
Oh, okay.
Mine's a light one.
All right, Struds. Struds wants us to wait. Wants us to wait on his segment. Let's get to brownie points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Did you know the ultimate game day snack is Canadian owned and operated? Opened back in 1962 right here in our province. Support Canadian business and get this great deal now. 2 pounds of jerky for $70 and get a free bonus quarter pound mystery flavor pack with free shipping Alberta-wide. It's awesome beef jerky. For more details, check out albertajerky.com and Got Your Back. We'll get you, as a code, we'll get you 10% off. Hi, Rob.
I'm ready. Here we go. Let's start with 50 brownie points to the Oilers' power play tonight. Didn't always look pretty, but the power play, I'm not counting the last one into the empty net, but the power play was 50% on a night when it was missing its best 2 power play specialists. That was a good game and the difference in the hockey game. The power play, excellent because they simplified. They just shot the puck with people in front of the net. I got 112 brownie points to the Oilers' numbers 93 and 19. Last week, they were the Oilers' 3rd and 4th line centers. Tonight, elevated to number 1 and 2 and led the way with 4 goals. One of them was 83% in the faceoff circle. The other was 55% in the faceoff circle. So fantastic game for both Henrique and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Good on them stepping up when the Oilers needed them. I have got 33 brownie points to Jeff Skinner. We've been talking about this. In game 83, if all the Oilers are healthy, 33% of the Oilers forwards tonight will not be in the lineup. Jeff Skinner is making a case that he can't be one of the healthy scratches. I wouldn't scratch him, but I still believe he will be. I've got nine brownie points to the Western Conference playoff race. There are 9 teams playing very well in the Western Conference with great races for the wild card between the Wild, the Blues, and the Calgary Flames, and a great race for playoff positioning in the Pacific Division as all 3 teams are playing well now, Vegas, LA, and the Edmonton Oilers. If the Oilers can somehow get a winning record with Connor and Leon out in those games, they can still have a chance to get home ice advantage in the first round. I don't think it matters where the Oilers finish. I don't think it matters if they start on the road. But the LA Kings, they are a much better team on home ice. I think they're like 26-3 on home ice, so it will be important to them. And finally, 18 brownie points to Robert Thomas and his line mates, Dylan Holloway and Jordan Kyrou. There's very seldom anything that happens in a hockey game that I haven't seen before. And even some of Connor McDavid's incredible plays, I've seen kind of those plays before, just he does it at a much higher speed and a much higher difficulty. But the goal that tonight that Robert Thomas scored in the St. Louis Blues game, I think you sent it out, Schauger. Dylan Holloway picks the puck up from behind the net and he throws it out in front. The puck gets deflected up. Jordan Kyrou hits the puck out of the air about elbow height. Puck's going behind the net. Dylan Holloway, he hits the puck out of the air at about shoulder height. It goes in front of the net, and Robert Thomas hits the puck out of the air at shoulder height into the net. It was like a lacrosse goal. The puck was always 4 feet in the air. It went from Kyrou to Holloway to Thomas into the back of the net. I have never seen a goal like that in all my years. You guys got to Google this one. Go on to one of the sports channels and find the highlight of it. It is really, really cool. And those,
TSN and see it.
Go to TSN. That's exactly what I said. TSN, because it is the best sports channel that we have. Go there, and maybe Schauger will be able to describe it for you, because he's the one that sent it out to us.
All right, brownie points brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Yeah, the tic-tac-toe through the air was kind of cool, Struddy. I thought that was a pretty sweet. We might never see something like that again.
Well, I don't think we've ever seen anything like that before. So
yeah,
it's pretty incredible. I give the guys a lot of credit. That's pretty sick mitts.
Right on. All right, that was a great rendition of brownie points. We've been looking forward to Struddy's World all night, and it is now time for everybody's second favorite segment. Roll the intro, Zuby.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good. Whoa. Struddy's World brought to you by Timber House Developments. Need a little extra space for the in-laws? They have garden suites that are perfect for keeping them close, but not too close. The designs are unique, anything but cookie cutter, and the experience of building with Timber House is second to none. They'll treat you like family, so build a great house or garden suite and take care of yours for years to come. Visit timberhouse.ca.
We love to put labels on everything. We labeled that this is dangerous, don't drink it, or don't drink too much of it. Labels on don't drive this way. Labels on don't let kids drink these pills, whatever the case may be. We need to get the same type of dedication and devotion to labeling blankets as we do to all these other things. This is my problem. I go and buy a blanket, a toss, whatever you want to call it, and they're not square. Right? So usually they're a rectangle in shape, but they're pretty close. So you put it on yourself and you realize that your foot isn't covered because you don't have it turned the right way. So now you got to get up, turn it on the couch, get it so it's long enough. So this is what I'm suggesting. Let's put a label on it. When you're on the correct side, you put something. I can be a little, I was thinking red, but it doesn't have to be red. Just a little knick-knack. So when I lift it up, I can see it like, oh, here it is. This is the long ways. So if I don't see it, I know it's not the long ways. This will prevent that irritating moment. You're all snuggled in and you realize you've got it turned the wrong way and you need 1/4 turn to get it the right place. So we apply labels on everything, guys. Let's label toss cushions. Well, not toss, I guess. Throw blankets so we know where we're at, so we can prevent those nasty moments.
So wait a second. You're comparing your throw blankie
That's correct.
and pills that we don't want children drinking. So those are the two things that you think both should have labels. So your little blankie and the pills that children shouldn't be drinking. I can see how they are in the Strudwick world or Struddy's world. Those would be very similar. I'm not sure in the rest of the world. I'm not sure in the rest of the world your blankie would be as high up the chart of things that we need to label, because you can't tell a rectangle from a square. So,
well, no, because they're very close. The ones we buy are very close. Like I'm talking 6 inches, Brownie. You can't tell the difference in a 6-inch difference. And so listen, let's talk about other labels then. Calorie labels on the thing, or you want to put on, labels of just how much it weighs. Those are the type of labels we have. So I'm not stuck on the red label. I think it would be nice. Most colors would blend in with, but we need to have something, Shogger. Maybe even a loop.
So first of all, Ryan Smith's nose says, "Don't ever change Struddy." So for anybody thinking that this is ridiculous, no, this is what the people want from Jason Strudwick. He knows what the people want, and he delivers. So don't ever change Struds. But here's the thing: I don't like when there's anything on. Like the top of the blanket can't have a label on it, because when you snuggle in, that label's in and around your face. Like it catches your chin, it's underneath here. If you've got the blanket pulled up, now you've got this label rubbing all over you, Struds. And you can't have that. The integrity 100%. Of the blanket up along the top edge, that is the sleeping edge, has to stay clean. You cannot muddy that up with a label. So I think your core idea here is flawed. And then you can say, well, put it down at the other end, but now it's down at the other end and you can't see it. So I disagree, Struds. Your plan basically ruins every blanket on the planet.
Yeah, and I hear you. And I guess, the two things for you. One, I've seen you use a Snuggie. So that's the type of thing, a Snuggie blanket. It looks like Jabba the Hutt's winter coat, right? Because it's just one piece and you put it over the top. And number two, your legs are so short, you can use a tea towel as a blanket.
Okay. So can I just submit for the record that I make what I feel is a pretty decent point, Brownie, and immediately Struds just goes for the gusto. Like, that doesn't address my core point. He just starts to fire the insults.
I'm 100% on your side on that one, Shogger. I can't have a label. Like if the blanket's upside down, because all blankets have the little tags on it, I can't have that anywhere near my face if I'm sleeping. It'll just start tickling. 100%. Two, like seriously, it's a square or a rectangle. Like how can you not tell where your feet are supposed to go? Which part?
Some are very seriously. They're very close. They're very close. Now, maybe you guys don't have the same challenge because, at 5'9" or whatever, there's not a blanket that doesn't fit you. But mine are specific.
I'm 6'2". Well, I'm just a hair below 6'2". I'm 6'2". Right. I'm going to give myself 6'2". I'm going to go ahead and give myself that. But here's the other thing, Struds. I actually don't like both of my feet covered with the blanket at night. I actually sometimes, I wouldn't mind going with it the other way. I actually always flip my right foot out from underneath the blankets, because that's the side that my gout toe is on, and it's better to not have the blankets laying on it all the time. So I often don't have my right foot covered while I'm sleeping.
I'm a visual guy. See, now I'm looking at that in my head. That is not the picture that I want.
Poor visually about it. It's not gangrenous. It's all under the skin.
It's not pretty. It's probably got a gross nail on it and everything too. It's probably
that has nothing to do with the nail.
Has someone get him a bigger?
Yeah,
he needs a bigger blankie.
Here,
how does this end up in me being goat shamed?
Let me take it in a different direction. Struddy, you write your name on your pillows. Just get the old Sharpie out and write top and bottom on your blankie.
These are some nice throw blankets from the Bay, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
I think they're going on sale at the Bay.
Enough of this. Struddy, take your idea to Shark Tank. A says, Struddy, take your idea to Shark Tank. You imagine him in front of Kevin O'Leary and Mark Cuban saying, it's a blanket with a label, so you know which way it goes. Hey, Struds?
You also have yourself muted, Struddy, too. So
You're
I think
muted.
you might have double-clicked the old mute button there.
I think that he's pretty. Mark Cuban's pretty tall. Kevin O'Leary, like he shares the same towels as you, the tea towel blanket. But I think that Mark Cuban's pretty tall. He probably struggles with this, and he'd be happy to have it solved.
All right. That was Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber Haas Development. Struddy, don't ever change.
Yeah, get no respect.
All right, let's keep Brownie and roll right through to our Ask Us Anything segments as we all recover from that. And that is brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. Interest rates are dropping, so making this the ideal time to consolidate your high-interest loans and credit card debt. Combine those debts into one manageable payment at a lower rate. Helps pay off your debt faster. Keep more money in your pocket. Maria Gallus, mortgagesbymaria.ca, can help you with all of that. Lebowski says, I ran into Ryan in the clubhouse last year and was surprised he was 6'1". Double take. It's a hair under 6'2", Lebowski, but yes, I get that often. I didn't realize you were so tall. I hear it all the time, Struds.
You're acting like you're Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, like, it's not.
Definitely not that. Nope.
Jeez.
Good stuff. Okay, let's just go right into a question many people want answered. You guys can speculate. Abby Hoffman says, will McDavid or Leon be back for Wednesday? Who wants to go first? Schauger?
No. Next question.
Double no? Brownie?
Double no.
Well, I have no idea. I get my information from Schauger, so I'm going to go no too.
We were told yesterday he'd be a week, so no chance Lance, I would say.
Yeah, you don't have to rush him back. Get him right.
Okie doke. Machine Gun Rollison says, Bowman spoke about the offer sheets on After Hours. He said they couldn't match without removing a core piece of the roster. LOL, not sure I'd agree with that. It couldn't possibly be that simple, could it? Or could it be, Struddy?
Yeah, I mean, listen, these are two really good young players who are fast. You drafted them, you developed them. And, you know, you look at the one for Broberg, that was a pretty big hit at $4.5 million. But the Holloway one, you couldn't find a way to squeeze $2.5 million in there. That's the one I think that probably stings. If even right now, if that was the split, I think most Oiler fans would be somewhat happy.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. They could. I don't understand the Holloway one. Yeah, he's a 23-year-old kid he's gonna be a 30 goal scorer for a number of years in the National Hockey League. He's physical, he's big, he's strong, he's fast. He's having a fantastic year in St. Louis. That I understand letting Broberg walk at those dollars, but I did not understand letting Holloway leave. I just didn't.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think maybe like who would Stan consider core players? Like who are we talking about here? I mean, I think we know that they overdid it in free agency a bit. That deal with Skinner. Here we're talking about tonight what a great night he had, but I think we all know with that Skinner contract when they handed that out, that's part of what made it so difficult for them on Holloway. But you find a way to maneuver around and keep this guy. You got to find a way to do that. You've spent so much time developing him, and he just walks for nothing. And it's been it's been rough for sure. Another assist for him tonight. Keep going there, Zuby.
A couple of this sort of came in from more than one person, so I thought this was kind of an interesting viewpoint. But Calvin Best specifically said, I'd like to see, this is kind of flip-flopping from the way lots of people seem to think, McDavid and Leon play on the first line and then let the second and third lines begin to gel. There's people sort of saying, is them not being in the lineup and seeing some of these other lines come together and create some offense make it seem like a better idea to put them together if you can find two other lines out of the current guys that are scoring, Schauger?
Yeah, I'll defer to the guys on it, but no, I think the formula to winning is with them on separate lines, always has been. I've always said playing them together will win you a division title, playing them apart will win you a Stanley Cup. So, Brownie?
Well, first of all, they had one game without him and they scored 5 goals, but it was the Kraken. The Kraken are terrible. They're a non-playoff team. So they're not going to play the Kraken in the playoffs. They're going to play Vegas and LA and Colorado or Dallas or Minnesota. Those are good teams. They're not going to drive lines in that series with the lines they have tonight. I think you will at times put Connor and Leon together based on the score, based on the situation. But when you play them together on the road, if you go to Vegas, well, Vegas now has a checking line that is going to play against them, and they've got their best 2 defensemen out there. And they're going to play them every time they step on the ice. And LA, they're going to play the same thing. If you put them together on the road, you're allowing the other team to have 3 shifts in a row of a big sigh, and then that one shift where they load up for. So to me, Connor and Leon driving their own lines, and at the occasional time when needed, you put Connor and Leon together. I just don't think the Oilers have enough depth scoring against good teams if Connor and Leon are together on one line.
I think it makes a difference that the power play time these guys got, right? Henrik, Skinner, all these guys that don't normally see much or any, they got it. So when Connor and Leon come back, that time goes away.
Neil Garrity says, if Nuge continues to be kind of continuing the same train of thought, if Nuge continues to be the third highest scorer on the team, does it make sense to decrease his time on ice on the third line if he's the third line center when McDavid and Draisaitl come back? What do you feel about that development there, Brownie?
Let me understand the question. So take him off the third line?
His feeling is, do you like, I mean, Nuge being in the third line spot when McDavid and Draisaitl come back, if that's the new established third line with Nuge on it, does it make sense to have him there, decreased ice time from a few weeks ago as the third line center?
Well, I think that with Nugent-Hopkins, he plays on your first power play unit, and they play almost the whole 2 minutes. He starts every penalty killing unit. He's the first guy out there. I don't think he's going to lose any ice time playing on the third line. I think if Kane and Frederick come back, I think the success that we've seen with Nugent-Hopkins on driving a line allows the Oilers to have him as their third line center and have success. So I don't think the fact that he is playing there will decrease his ice time. I think he's still going to be right where he always is about 20 minutes a night, 21 minutes a night, depending on specialty teams.
Yeah, the challenge will be get his line mates going, right? To get other guys feeling like they're involved. Like right now, I think you get these guys feeling like they're involved. How do you keep that for them? Keep that feeling for them? Because I think they found that way last year.
You got anything on that, Shugger? You want me to move on?
Yeah, no, you can keep moving along.
Okay. Gomez had a funny comment. He said, if we get to 200 likes tonight, some lucky listener gets an Invisalign, so we could find a new home for it. But Gomez also said the oldest team got older tonight, but Derek Ryan was decent. What did you guys think of Derek Ryan's game tonight, the elder statesman, Shogger?
Yeah, I thought he looked pretty good. I thought he was skating well. He looked like he was moving around out there pretty good. Hey, Struds?
Yeah, I thought the same. He and Max Jones played 7 minutes each. In a night where 2 big guys were in the lineup. So I think you can kind of see where this is heading.
He was fine. Derek Ryan gives you what Derek Ryan gives you. He created a couple great chances from behind the net, but there will have to be a few injuries for Derek Ryan to be in the lineup come playoff time.
Yeah. Any more, Zuby? One more?
Let's do 2. Simple 101 says, is the Klingberg experiment over, you think, Struddy? Where's he fit in the logjam of D right now?
Well, I mean, it's clear there's 5, and then there's Stetcher, who's playing more than Emerson right now, and then Klingberg. So I don't think they're going to dress 7 because more guys are going to come back and get healthy. So it's going to be hard to get in there. He's literally fighting for the 6th spot with two guys. I think I think it's tough. I think it's tight.
We're going to get into Emerson in our next segment, Struds. That's part of what Take a Lap tonight. We're dedicating entirely to more Oilers talk because there's a couple of subjects I want to dive into with you. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, right now, Stetcher is taking the spot from Emerson and from Klingberg. And actually, I thought Stetcher. It's funny that we had the one caller earlier, the one texter earlier, talking about the Oilers' defense struggled at times tonight. I don't think Stetcher was one of those players. I thought Stetcher was good. I thought he and Kulak looked comfortable out there. I'm shocked. I'd be shocked if Stetcher started game 83 ahead of Emerson and Klingberg. But the way it's going right now, there was an easy opportunity to put Emerson in tonight's game against a Seattle team, but they didn't take that. So I think Klingberg would be behind Emerson in the depth chart, but right now both of them are behind Stetcher.
That's exactly what we're going to dig into next segment. Last one, Zuby, and we'll let Brownie go.
Okay, these are specific for Brownie and Struds especially. This will be great. From our friend Just Steve, he said, how much did your actual height and weight differ from your official NHL ones, or what was on your hockey card or wherever? How accurate did you guys get your heights and weights listed compared to your actual ones, Struddy?
Yeah, I didn't have much to hide there. I think I'm 6'3", and my card says I'm 6'4". But my weight was always like around that 220, 215, 225. It was nothing really.
We're basically the same height. You and I are we're basically the same height.
Yeah, 100%. The same. When you get up on that gout toe, it takes you up a couple inches. Why would you say that?
His right ear is 2.5 inches higher than his left ear because of the gout toe. My height was a 1/4 inch off. I was always 5'11" on my hockey cards, but I'm 5'10 3/4. I never got to 5'11". My weight, it depended. My hockey card always said, I think 180 or 185. It depended where. If I was in the minors, then it was probably a little under what I was actually at that point, but pretty close.
All right. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Maria Gallus, mortgage broker. Check her out at mortgagesbymaria.ca. All right. So, Brownie, our next pod's going to drop on Monday, but I think you said you were not available for that. So I believe we will chat with you next after the game against the Dallas Stars on the 26th.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Okay, pal. Have a great few days. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, that is Robbie Brown. All right, quick break. When we come back, two issues I want to dig into in our Take a Lap segment. We're going to keep it all Oilers tonight. We're not going outside of Edmonton. So lots of Oiler content still on the way. Stay with us.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
Join over 250,000 Canadians who have upgraded to Canada's best mattress. Douglas is proudly made in Canada and ships directly to your door for free. Douglas is easy to set up. Enjoy perfectly balanced comfort and an easy-to-clean machine washable cover. Get a free sleep bundle with your Douglas mattress. Try risk-free for 365 nights. Get your Douglas mattress today.
All right, time now to take a couple of laps, brought to you by Acon. If you're a skilled tradesperson or construction professional looking for work in Western Canada, they want to hear from you. They have job openings, right? So if you got a resume, send it to trades@acon.com. That is trades@acon.com. Looking for skilled tradespeople and construction professionals to join
The Acon team, one of Canada's original industrial contractors. Okay, Struds, let's talk about the situation with Ty Emerson here. I don't think either of us would debate that there was a dip in his play and at a certain point started to struggle a fair amount. I also don't think, and tell me if I'm wrong, either of us would debate that Troy Stecher has actually played pretty well here with this opportunity that he has been given. But I would submit to you, Struds, I was thinking this before tonight's game, and I still believe this coming out of tonight's game. Ty Emerson is still a developing player. Doesn't have a lot of experience. They cannot bury this guy. They cannot leave him on the outside looking in for too long. I believe when the playoffs begin, they need Emerson. And I think to let him go too long here without playing is a mistake this close to the playoffs where they need him. I think it's time to, I would have gotten him rolling tonight. And it's okay if you want to work Stecher in, but I would have had him rolling sooner than this. You?
I think that he's played 30 games in NHL prior to this year, and understanding the mental battle of playing every other night is really hard. It's a real big adjustment. And I know of players that, that first year, and it is essentially his first full year, you get fatigued and mentally more than physically. So I think a little pause here. I don't think this is awful for him. And even if he gets paused one game this week, but you're right. They've got to get him in there playing. And the reason is he's a lot bigger than Stecher. And Stetcher's done some good things. And I appreciate the way he moves around the ice and how he defends. But when it gets heavy, he's not big enough. That's just the way it is. And it's unfortunately, it's not fair, but the world's not fair.
Yeah, so he will go. Let's say he plays on Wednesday against Dallas, which I don't know that we know that he's actually going to. So Emerson's last game was the 16th of March. So it'll be 10 days with no games for him if he gets in on the 26th. If he doesn't, then it's 11 days. Here's my point with this player. I think there comes a point where if you feel like you have a bad game or two, you might be out of the lineup for 2 weeks. I think you're putting him out on a limb you don't want to put this player out on right now. I think he needs more leash than 10 days of healthy, and 3 or 4 games of healthy scratchings gives him. I think he's too important. I think he's going to be the one they need in the playoff, Struds, and I don't want this guy playing, terrified to make mistakes for fear that he's coming out of the lineup for game after game after game. Yes, there's competition, and that's okay, but I think we all know that Emerson has a better chance to be an answer in the playoffs than Stecher does. So I don't like him being out on a limb, afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be the case, though, about him making the mistakes. I think he was lacking some zip to his game. The physicality, the quick plays. I don't think we were seeing that the last little while. And I think he's just mentally a bit tired. I'm guessing, but that's what I think. So I don't think that missing that amount of time is going to hurt him because he'll come back fresh, both mentally and physically. And we'll see the best version of him that, the team is used to seeing.
Chris Knobloch earlier today, I hit him with a couple on Emerson.
And I said there's more. I think he went through a stretch. Maybe he wasn't playing his best, but, a few games leading up to when he came out of lineup, he actually played really well, but so did everyone else. And then when you had Ekholm, somebody had to come out, and it's just pretty much a numbers game. And then sometimes it's not fair because, he could definitely be in the lineup. And there's other times where you might want to take out a guy, but you're such in need because the injuries or other guys are playing so poorly that you just continue to play. And we've got 3 games next week, and I'm sure that he'll be in 1, if not 2, and possibly even 3 of them by next week. So definitely something that we want him back in the lineup. He's a great player. Right now, we just feel that our other 6 have been playing really well. It's tough to take any of those out.
Yeah, Stecher obviously has been playing good too here. But I guess I just wonder, you treat different players differently in terms of where they're at in their development. So Emerson still doesn't have a ton of experience. that maybe the learning process or the leash is a little bit different for a guy like that versus someone who's got a couple hundred games, and how you factor that in?
Yeah, right now it's about, as much as we like to think about development and giving guys more opportunities, but right now we're in a position of win hockey games. That's what it is. And not that he can't help us win hockey games. I think we're just going with the guys that are playing their best right now, and it's tough to make those changes.
So sounds like the intention is to get him in to some of the games coming up next week, Struds. How do you think that Knobloch handled that? Because he certainly wasn't hard on the player at all.
No, and that's why I don't think this is a scenario where they're like, "Hey, he's really playing badly." I just think that you can feel it when a player is kind of running out of juice. And maybe it was coffee, maybe it was whoever that was doing it, but Stetcher's fairly fairly fresh. Klingberg's out, and so you run with him for a bit and let this other guy recover. It's hard. That first year is hard, and you'll have to figure out. He'll be better tailored for this next year. But yeah, he's an important part. Game 1, I believe it will be Emerson, but a little bit of rest right now would be a fine thing, and I think Knobloch recognizes that.
I think it's too much. So tonight was the night to put him back in, right? Winnipeg, I get it. I think this is a little bit too much. Sorry, I know I'm trying to have the last say again. I just want to put an exclamation point on that one. I think this is one game too many. And I think you're starting to risk messing with the player a little bit. Get him in, get him going, get him feeling it, get him, I think they need to spend time working through it with this player. I think they're going to need this guy. I think Klingberg is a complete wild card for the playoffs. And I think they know what they have in Stetcher already at playoff time. And we've seen where that's gone in the past. A lot is riding on Ty Emerson being ready for the playoffs this year, Struds.
All right.
Okay, you're giving me last word. All right, I'm just taking it that time. I'm taking it.
Yeah, because I've got no new information. I can't challenge it. It makes sense. I get it, but I can't.
Also chat a little bit with Jake Walman, and we talked about him playing the 2-on-1s and how he goes about those. So a couple minutes here with Jake Walman. Take a listen.
Obviously, there's some time to adjust, and I think for the most part, we've been pretty solid. It's pretty easy to play with Darnell, and like I said, I'm comfortable on the right side, left or right. But yeah, at the same time, it's a new team, new system, so it's just kind of trying to fit in and not messing up the mojo as much. So I think just fitting in as best I can and doing what I can to help.
What would you say, like the key differences have been that you've sort of noticed and gone, okay, this will be an adjustment for me from what I'm used to?
I just think everybody's so dialed in here, everywhere around the rink. I think everybody's catered to the players, and it's great. It's a high expectation on the players too. So coming in, being dialed, extremely laser sharp focus. That's probably the biggest thing. Just no days off for sure. It's just grinding and knowing what the goal is.
What were you expecting with Paul Coffey behind the bench, and what's that been like, having Paul Coffey as an coach?
Yeah, it's been great. A lot of obviously wisdom coming from him. Good or bad stuff when I come off the ice. It's always information to take, and he's communicates really well. So it's easy to play for, and it's fun for sure having that voice back there.
Don't mean to be grilling you. One more from me. What's your philosophy on 2-on-1s? Notice like some guys like to slide, some guys not so much.
Yeah.
You've dealt with a few of them here over the last couple of games. What's your philosophy?
Yeah. 2-on-1s are so unpredictable. It's no 2-on-1's the same, but normally I do slide. I think it's kind of preference for the player, but obviously his situation was different, and I think that one last game, I knew there was a guy streaking in the net, so it's kind of gray area. I was trying to use my instincts, but obviously that one got through me. So no 2-on-1's the same. I'm normally a slide type of person, but hopefully you can be better on those 2-on-1s.
What do you think of what he had to say there, Struddy, on the 2-on-1s and such?
Yeah, no, and everyone's taught differently, right? And then the reality is every single time you play with a different team, they have a different philosophy. So I played with Henrik Lundqvist on a 2-on-1. He wanted us to attack the puck carrier because and make sure that guy didn't get by you. So he'd either be dealing with a bad pass and a shot, or a breakaway. He'd rather have either of those things in a backdoor tap in. Like the first shift tonight, first or second, Eberle had a great pass over to Shane Wright, and Shane didn't get it done. Goalie had no chance on the back door, not a chance. So that's why you want to take that away, so that, give the guy a chance to make the save. Give him a chance to get some pads on the puck.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, that interview was done before tonight's game, done a little bit earlier on this afternoon. Okay. All right, that was Take a Lap, brought to you by our good friends over at Acon. Very quickly before our play of the day, a very simple poll tonight and pretty overwhelming, Zuby.
Yes, indeed. Although it was really overwhelming early. Some people who hadn't heard the whole story, I guess, coming in later, ticked it closer a little bit to, I won't call it sanity, but let's say good Samaritanism. The poll question tonight was, you find a dental apparatus on the ground, do you keep on walking? 87% keep on walking. Pick it up, post on Facebook. Only 12%. Over 200 votes on the poll. So you can tell Randine that there's a special seat in heaven for her. She's a lovely lady, looking out for other people. And I appreciate people like her, even though I probably wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I've been on her side the entire time, defending her all day. How dare anybody not recognize that for the act of heroism that it was. All right, time for our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience, providing modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation, implants, and so much more. Contact GalleryDentalYEG.com. Struds, have you ever accidentally pissed off one of your coaches with something that you said in the media? Because this happened today in the NHL.
Yeah, I'm sure I have. I don't remember him responding like this. So the Devils lost, and Sheldon Keefe was up at the desk or doing the media veil, and he was told something said by Jonathan Kovacevic. They'd interviewed him before, obviously, to do the players first. So let's hear what Johnny had to say and how Sheldon, the head coach of the Devils, responded.
We're in a fight, and hopefully that, gets us in that playoff mentality, 10, 11 games out, and we carry that into playoffs. So, obviously the results are tough, but we're in a fight here, and we're not going to back down.
Kovacevic just mentioned to us that he thinks the team kind of needs to have that playoff mentality going down the stretch here. Is that something
Kovacevic just needs to play better. That would help.
Mic drop. And that was it. Basically, he stared everybody down, Sheldon Keefe, at the podium, then he walked off. I don't know why he was. Obviously, he's frustrated the way Kovacevic is playing. That's clear. Kovacevic just signed a 5-year contract, by the way, so he's feeling pretty good about life. But that's a coach. It's like, I don't want to hear from my players. We got to play better and move on.
Yeah, I think Sheldon totally overreacted to that. I think that I think when he hears what Kovacevic actually had to say, he was like, look, we're in the fight here, and hopefully that helps us get into the playoff mentality. And then the reporter says, Kovacevic says you need to be more in the playoff mentality, and Sheldon immediately took the worst of what that could mean. And I thought he unnecessarily went a little snap show up there. And I think that's not a good look for a guy whose team is kind of cratering around him, unnecessarily slapping a guy that I don't think deserved it, Struds.
No, and that's fair. And Sheldon is fairly uptight when his team's been playing well, like every coach that I've ever seen.
Yeah. All right, that was our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. What a great number on the stream. It's 1 a.m. We still got almost 500 people hanging out with us. Just a blast. We're getting ourselves into playoff form. Our audience is getting itself into playoff form, and we cannot wait. We're going to take a few days off. We'll chat with you on Monday night. Struddy, Zuby, thanks, boys.
I wanted to add, too, I did communicate with Northern Farm Girl today. Lots of people have been asking about her. She's been missing from the stream for the last little while. It's her birthday, by the way. Happy birthday. She was at the game.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, she was at the game tonight, I believe, and she's going to be back on the stream with us. She'll be back. She's good. People were good. There were some fine folks on the stream showing concern. She's going to be back.
Right on. Glad to hear it. Okay, guys, we'll chat in a couple of days. Thanks. Good job tonight. And thanks to all of you for joining us on the live stream tonight. Got Your Back will be back Monday night on the 24th, and then a pile of pods next week, including another edition of Struddy's World. Tons of content coming your way, so keep it locked onto our channels. Talk soon. See ya.
Good night.